Hello, I'm Ross Twiddell from Cultaholic. You are a sexual wank pheasant, and welcome to all of these AEW TF moments from this week's Dynamite. An episode of Dynamite that was more good than it was bad. There was bare great wrestling, fam. Bare. I don't use that word lightly. There was also another great promo from Chris Jericho. A good promo from Cody Rhodes. A baffling promo from Brandy Rhodes. A package ad that got me more on side with the Dark Order. And another package ad that was supposed to tell us more about the Butcher and the Blade and the Bunny, but it didn't tell us anything else that we didn't already know. And I guess before we get going with the actual WTF moments, AEW TNT, whoever was responsible for those sound issues early on, pull your finger out your arse and sort it out, will you? WTF! So first of all, who is they? By God, Jim Ross shouted after Justin Roberts, doing Sammy Guevara's intro ting, said they call him a Spanish god. I mean, where do you start, Jim? Chris Jericho? The entire inner circle? Me? You at home? Probably Sammy's mom as well? Everybody calls him a Spanish god. Where have you been? And then we have to mention the attendance, which caught the corner of my eye as somebody was doing their entrance at the start of the show. Ooh! Champaign, Illinois by name, out there drinking a little bit of the bubbly instead of going to AEW Live. By nature, it seems. So of course there would have been a bloody good reason as to why nobody showed up to AEW Dynamite this week. So if you know, let me know in the comments below. But to quote Kevin McAllister, while Kevin was speaking about Buzz's girlfriend, the attendance at Dynamite last night, one word, woof. And then straight away in that fantastic opening tag team match, we find ourselves with a WTF moment, even though we should stop with the WTF moments with the tag team matches because they're using Mexican rules, aren't they? Or something that hasn't been established to the viewer. Please tell us what's going on. Anyway, we see Nick Jackson tag himself in there. And then we have the Golden Bucks, the young Bucks and the old Bucks. We have Dustin, Matt and Nick hit a triple drop kick thing right there. But then Dustin, who had just been tagged out, goes for the pinfall, and supposed tag team specialist referee Rickety Knox, that's the noise his name makes apparently, he counts the pinfall anyway. And as I said before, Mexican tag team rules are something I've probably just wasted a lot of my breath right there. And then we have Big Dick Tony Schiavone saying that he has to mention Dustin's attire because Dustin wearing tassels on those boots, that's the most outrageous thing to happen in the world ever. But I was sat there thinking, Big Dick Tony, tassels, that's just the tip of the kinky, weird, disturbing iceberg when you think about some of the things Dustin has worn in the ring down the years. And then we have Jim Ross saying that he didn't think that Dustin could fly like that, by God, as Dustin did the senton off the apron to the floor that he's done roughly 1.75 million times. And I'm a condescending arsehole. And then we have a rather sobering WTF moment as we find out that Sammy Guevara and the Inner Circle actually have hearts. Look at Sammy there asking the referee to check Dustin's pulse, even though a normal heel would just attack Dustin so hard Dustin would have a heart attack. How bloody wholesome can you get, eh? But this brings us to a wider issue inside the Inner Circle. It's the wider circle. I'm talking nonsense. Remember that promo package from the opening of the buy-in at Full Gear? Santana and Ortiz cut one of the best babyface promo packages promos in the history of babyface promo packages promos. And now Sammy Guevara doing this? I don't think they're that bad, really, are they? And then at this moment right here, we clearly heard Ortiz shout, "Hey, suck me dick." The audio man did his best to try and cut out, but when you hear "suck me dick," what else could it be? And I don't know why, but my mind right there, when thinking about the alternatives, that could have been, went straight to "suck my Deirdre Barlow."
What are you aiming at? What are you aiming at?
Dustin, pal, I don't think that phone's recording stuff anymore, man. Now, just to make sure, when I saw that blank screen there, that what I said just there was actually true, I whacked out my iPhone 10. I started a recording, I hit the old lock button, and I went back to the recording, and it had cut off at the time I hit the lock button. So Dustin is not recording anything there, and Sammy Guevara is absolutely gutted. Mom, I'm on the telly once again. 2 Cultaholic related things in the crowd in Champaign, Illinois. Thank you to Rogue Man with the fantastic sign, and also Justin Palmley for spreading the good name of Cultaholic throughout the AEW universe. That just felt horrible to say. Anyway, I've got this played, haven't I? NXT last night. Thank you to Steven Scodes for this footage right here. How the hell do 2 pissed blokes having a sing-song in an empty office at 3 a.m. end up on the Tron at Full Sail? Now we can forgive the incorrect grammar right here because there's a bigger issue at play. I need to know why Chuck Taylor owes that person money. I don't know about you at home, but I bet it's something really normal. So next up we have the promo from Cody where he was talking about the stipulation from his match against Chris Jericho at the Full Gear. As we all know, because he lost that match thanks to that bastard MJF, he will never get a challenge for the AEW Championship ever again. Cody then goes on to talk about how MJF has said he will never ever wrestle Cody because he's a bastard, and then Cody says to that, by God, that's one hell of an absolute, and I do not deal in absolutes. So Cody will challenge for the AEW Championship down the line, because that is an absolute, and Cody doesn't deal in them, does he? I'm an arsehole. And then he has a go at MJF for having the worst crossroads in professional wrestling. And then he goes on to say, hey, at least they're botching my move on 2 channels now. That's a bit harsh on Damian Priest, isn't it? He hasn't really done what MJF did, has he? I don't know. It all blends into one. I've forgotten. Let me know if he has. And then Cody called MJF a Bush League NWO version of Chris Jericho. And I don't know why, but hearing a professional wrestler on a big professional wrestler show label one of their colleagues an NWO version of somebody else, it just screamed WTF to me, so we're here. $50,000, a great big sparkly watch courtesy of Tony Khan, the most expensive thing that was on Cody's body last night. Louis Vuitton shoes, a truck that is one of only 300 models in existence. If MJF does not take this match, just take the beating, then run away with all the prizes, he's the biggest numpty I've ever laid eyes upon. I mean, hey, Cody, if MJF does turn all of that down, I'll hoof you in the nads. I'll take that match to have all of those prizes. I'm not stupid. I am stupid. And then if you at home were to ask me before last night's call on Dynamite started, Ross, what's one thing you did not expect to see during last night's show? I would tell you about Cody Rhodes opening a briefcase, $50,000. Damn it, people, I'll prove to you it's real. I'll give a $100 to somebody in the crowd. And then the best dressed 10-year-old kid in the world ever gets that $100 bill and provides us with the most natural reaction that definitely proved he wasn't a plant. It's like that bloody kid with the computer from the 80s or the 90s. It's like he's time travelled, put a lovely suit on and sat front row at last night's call on Dynamite, isn't it? So of course after War Games we heard Triple H said we didn't know who Britt Baker was. Then last night on Dynamite they had her redo her shocked but dead behind the eyes face, which had Excalibur exclaiming, "That's Adam Cole's girlfriend." Hey, I liked it, but when you put the 2 Britt Baker shocked but dead behind the eyes faces side by side, it would appear that Britt Baker is way more concerned about the safety of referee Rick Knox and Shanna than she is about the prospect of her own boyfriend dying at the hands of Tommaso Ciampa. Work that one out. So then Chris Jericho whapped out a brand new list, but oh no, this is not 2016, sisters. That's not the list of Jericho. That's the Lexicon of Les Champions. And I was thinking, the Lexicon of Les Champions. He's brought out his own babble. Maybe he's bringing out his own language. But no, the Lexicon of Les Champions is just a list. He appears to think that lexicon is a fancier word for list than list, and since he's a heel, a delusional one at that, it worked. So of course the Lexicon of Le Champion was a list of all of the people Jericho does not want to defend his championship against in 2019, since he has been told he has to defend the title once more this year, and every single one of these weird names has to be their own WTF moment, doesn't it? We have Papa Buck, as if Papa Buck would be there, Uncle Buck, Buck Owens, page of the World Wrestling Federation, that one. Too Cold Scorpio, any member of the Scorpions, Kenny Ortega, Kenny Shields, Kenny Chesney, Kenny from South Park, Rick Allen, Alan Jones, better known to you and me as AJ Styles, by the way, that's his real name. Evil Uno, Angry Dos, Hateful Trez, and then he was cut off by Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, and Marco Stunt coming out, but just before their music hit, he said Marty. He could not have meant Marty Jannetty, so therefore hack theories happening right now. That was the teaser for Marty Scurll's AEW debut. And then we have a promo from Luchasaurus of all people where he says, and yeah, Marco's small for his age, but he's more of a man, Chris Jericho, than you'll ever be. Easy, Tiger, said Jim Ross. You know where I'm going, don't you? I hate myself sometimes, but Jim, that's not a tiger, son, that's a dinosaur. He's not called Lucha Tiger, is he? Ah. So then we get on to Brandy Rhodes and this utter nonsense, and she says that herself and Awesome Kong, they are known as the Nightmare Collective. They are an extension of the Nightmare family, and they do the jobs that nobody else wants to do. And I was sat there thinking, wait, hey Brandy, if you don't want to be the CBO of AEW, I'll do it. I'll quit this job and have that one. A CBO of a big company like that. Give us a ring, will you? And then Brandy asked Mrs. Statlander to commit herself to the Nightmare Collective. And I was sat there thinking, why don't the Nightmare Collective and the Dark Order just get together and just be a big stable? Because they are the same thing, but with different names, aren't they? And then, to keep this real as real can be, we had a psychotic fangirl in the front row shouting at Brandy Rhodes and Awesome Kong, how? Take me hair. Snatch me bald. And then security just opened the gates and let this psychotic nutter to the ringside area. Because that's how it happens, isn't that? It's just completely normal. Now, no offense to any psychotic nutters watching this video right now, but if there's one thing we know about professional wrestling fandom and all of these people who pretend to be wrestlers on social media and all that stuff, there's a lot of psychotic people in the professional wrestling fandom, and doing this on Dynamite last night is sending those people the completely wrong message, is it not? Mark my words, there's going to be a big incident very soon because AEW have set a precedent here. We're going to see a fan who likes a particular wrestler a bit more than your average wrestling fan likes that wrestler. They're going to think, oh, I saw it on Dynamite, I'll hop the barricade and I'll give him a hug and something bad will happen, mark my words. But then we had Brandy and Awesome Kong trying to shave this woman bald, but the clippers wouldn't work. But their intentions were clear. They wanted to shave this woman bald, so instead of being just like the Dark Order, Brandy, Awesome Kong, the Nightmare Collective, straight edge society, isn't it? And this just took me back to the start of the promo where Brandy said that people don't like things they don't understand because they're scared of them or whatever. And I was just thinking, I just don't like things that are a bit naff and a blatant copy of something we've seen years before. So to end these WTF moments for last night's Dynamite, we have the moment where Jon Moxley does a beautiful X-Plex to Joey Janela in the middle of the ring. We all know what it's called, don't we? It's an X-Plex. That's just the name, isn't it? But then we have Big Dick Tony Schiavone ask him, what the hell do you call that then? And then, between himself and Jim Ross, they were taking the piss, by the way, but they came up with the name of El Flippo in the Aero. Whiskey in the Jarro. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments below. You can follow us on Twitter at Cultaholic. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Cultaholic. And if you enjoy what we do here at Cultaholic, you can play us from our Patreon page, patreon.com/Cultaholic. Hit subscribe and join us